On this day, we were able to secure a lightning lane for Kilimanjaro Safari. The last time that we came, we've only been to Animal Kingdom twice. And the first time, we hardly saw any animals. There are over 750 different animal species, I believe. And I was really disappointed. I felt like Dr. Malcolm on Jurassic Park, where we were going along. I think I even remarked, are there any actual animals on this animal tour? But that wasn't the case today. Today we saw black rhinos, African elephants actually playing in the water, which was a rare sight to see according to our guide. And it was a very enjoyable day. It was hot, but we really enjoyed this ride. One of my favorite things about this is hearing the children and people who have just experienced this for the first time, their reactions, the oohs and the ahs really make this worthwhile.
To take pictures throughout our journey. In fact, I encourage it because we will probably see some pretty cool animals out there today. Just make sure you hold on to everything tightly as I cannot stop to retrieve any dropped items. Now, is this anyone's first safari with us today? Any first timers? Woohoo! Alright, well, welcome, and welcome back for everyone else.
This ain't your first time.
Now, if you'll look above you, you'll notice there's a handy-dandy little animal spotting guy. Now, just a little, but let's be honest, there are quite a few animals on there. And we probably won't be able to see all of them out there today. Just make sure you heard. But we usually get pretty lucky. Now we are going to start by making our way into the Little Italy Forest.
Let me take one of y'all. Look, there. Okay. Oh, take that one first and then I'll take one.
On your side.
Now, can you smile?
Whatever they are.
Alright, now starting out over on the right, there's an okapi. Now the okapi may look a lot like a zebra with the stripes on their legs, but they're actually the only living relatives of the giraffe. Both animals share very similar skull structure and a long prehensile.
Look at this one, baby.
Over on the left, there's another kind of antelope. That is a bongo. Now, both male and female bongos have those spiraling horns that kind of lean back over their bodies. And those horns help them to not get all tangled up and everything as they make their way through the forest. Those horns are pretty big and dense. They kind of act like big old helmets for them.
Oh, I think I see something in the water.
Alright, coming up ahead on the left, we'll get a great view of this black rhino. Now, the black rhino is going to be one of the smaller rhinos out there, weighing only around 3,000 pounds or so. And I know that 3,000 sounds like a lot to us, but it is small for rhinos. And black rhinos prehensile of a lip that is ideal for getting leaves from bushes and branches. Now, prehensile does mean capable of grasping, and I might mention that word a few more times today, just depending on who all we see.
Look, we're going to see something up here.
Alright, now over on the left, there's two different animals. The antelopes are greater kudu, and the birds are saddle-billed storks. I can tell that all those greater kudu are female because only the male greater kudu have horns. Those horns will be really long, around 6 feet long. The saddle-billed storks get their name from the yellow saddle shape on their bells. They actually don't vocalize though, but they will communicate by rattling their beaks together. Alright, well, we're going to continue along. Make our way over to the Safi River next.
Hippo, look at
See if maybe we can find some more wildlife hanging out. Don't worry, it's going to start out over on the right, but it'll move over to the left. So both sides will be able to get a great view. Now over on the right, I'm seeing some large white birds with really big beaks. Those are pink-backed pelicans. They get their name from the paint coloring they develop on their back during mating season. It's almost like they're blushing as they all flirt with each other. They have a wingspan of around 9 feet long, and that's about the width of that canopy above us. There is also a big old hippopotamus over there on the right. Now, hippos are pretty big creatures. They can weigh around 5,000 pounds. And when they swim, they don't really swim necessarily. They often prefer to sink down, and then they will simply walk
Oh, look, there's
the
another
bottom of the water that they're in. They can a great view of this one just walking along the bottom of the water gutter. It's pretty safe. And when they go underwater, they will close their nostrils and pull back their ears. That allows them to actually sleep underwater. And they don't even need to wake up to take a breath of air. They will just subconsciously float up and take a breath whenever they need one. Now, a group of hippos is called a bloat. And one easy way to remember that, because hippos are so heavy, they do not float.
They bloat. Look at the vulture. Under the water.
I know, over on the left looks like there's some Nile crocodiles.
Oh, wait.
Now, these guys have some powerful jaws that can crush the bones of their prey. But they can also use their jaws very gently. They will often take their eggs in their mouths and then roll them around to help assist during the hatching process. Yeah, these guys are pretty big. They can be around 16 feet long and 500 pounds. They can eat up to half of their body weight in a single feeding. And because they eat so much at once, they don't really need to eat that often. Just around once a week or so. But if food is scarce, they can be known to go months without eating. Alrighty, well, we're going to move on from the forest areas and start making our way out to the savannah. And as we head out to the savannah, you'll notice that it's a lot more open than the forest was. There'll be a lot less trees, a lot less bushes. And that means that overall there's just a lot less hiding spots. So, unlike the forest animals, where a lot of them like to rely on camouflage and blending in, these guys will rely a lot more on their speed and agility.
It's fine.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Look where are we? Mommy. Mommy, look. Mom, look.
Right? No, it's 44. No, but let me stop.
Mom, I want to see. Like down the floor. Down the floor.
Alright, now some pretty little antelopes there. Those are springbuck. They're pretty small, just around 3 feet to the shoulder. But they get their name from being able to repeatedly spring up. Oh, is that a squirrel? Oh, I don't have any squirrel facts, sorry. They get their name from being able to repeatedly spring up 6 feet in the air. They can also leap forward up to 13 feet. They are among the top 10 fastest land mammals, reaching speeds of around 60 miles per hour.
Great, what is this? Where are we?
Animal.
Now, over on the left, there are some African painted dogs. They're laying down, so it's a little hard to see them. They blend in very well with their spots, but they're laying down kind of on the left side. Now, these guys are pretty cute, but don't be fooled by their adorable exterior. They're one of the most successful hunters of mammals on the savannah. They achieve that by working together as a pack to wear down their prey until their prey just simply drops from exhaustion. Over on the left, there's some sable antelopes. They have those long, curved back horns. Those horns are not just for decoration. They help act as a deterrent for any potential predators from jumping up on their backs. And they're one of the only antelopes that are known to actually fight back against predators. And they use those big old horns to do so.
It's just on your tip.
Oh, that's what we
And if they aren't familiar, the sable antelope is the symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve.
And if not, like I said,
So you may have seen them on some signs coming in.
Harambe is an actual location. Good. Fake dirt.
I'm glad y'all got stuff like, get out of there and stuff. What's up, baby?
grazing in the grass there. And these are Hartman's mountain zebra in particular. And they will differ from other zebras in that they have a little flap of skin on their neck called a dewlap. And that helps to regulate their body temperature.
You get a close up one too.
Now, no two zebra stripes are the same. Very much like our fingerprints, they are all unique. And when a baby zebra is born, they will imprint on their mother and be able to memorize her stripe pattern so they can recognize her from far away.
Wow.
It's a baby zebra.
And a group of zebra is called a dazzle, which I find very fun to say. Well, that comes from when they're all together as a group, they kind of have a motion dazzling effect on the eyes that makes it kind of hard to pick out one from another. It's kind of like looking at an optical illusion of a bunch of stripes on them, and it feels like things are moving. It's a similar kind of effect.
The baby look at it. He used to literally do this to my eyes. Okay, look, let's see it. Okay, I'm gonna get a little closer. Get my nose out of your picture. He's not a little baby. He's a big zebra.
Looks like we got a great view of the zebra laying down right next to us.
Little baby.
Oh, there's over here. I see two different animals. I see some giraffes and some wildebeest.
Oh, look at
Now, wildebeest live in the second most dense herd of all mammals. They can be in herds of up to 1.5 million.
1.5 million.
And something really cool about wildebeest, when they go to lay down to rest, they actually like to organize themselves in rows. That way they can maintain their safety and numbers, but also make sure that everyone knows when they're ready to get up and run. Over here. Now, giraffes are the tallest animals in the world, measuring around 18 to 20 feet tall. And the ones you see here are best-side giraffes. That means that their spots have a bit of a jagged edge to them. Meanwhile, articulated giraffes have a smooth edge on their spots. Now, over on the right, actually, a little bit further back in the trees, there are some animals with really big horns. They're kind of hiding behind a bunch of bushes there, so it's a little bit of an awkward angle to see them. But those are Ankole cattle. Those horns are pretty impressive, growing around 6 to 8 feet long. And they may look really heavy, but they're actually hollow with a honeycomb-like structure on the inside. They even have some blood vessels running through their horns, and that'll act like a nice cooling system for them.
Yes,
That's right, up ahead I do see an elephant, and this is going to be an African elephant. Oh, I can tell that based off of the large ears that are very conveniently shaped like Africa. Oh, guys, we're about to see an elephant actually in the water up ahead. Oh, we got two of them. All right, get those cameras out. I've only ever seen this once before, and I've been working here about a year. Oh, what a great view. Elephant trunks are really cool. They are super strong. They have thousands of muscles in them. It's another example of prehensile appendage. And they can hold several gallons of water in their trunk at a time. Now, over on the left, there's a brilliant flamingos. Specifically, these are greater flamingos. Now, the greater in their name means that they're the largest flamingo. And these guys also have the brightest pink color. Does anyone know where they get their pink color from? Yeah, they get it from their diet of shrimp. They're really more white and gray, and it takes around 2 years for them to fully develop that pink color.
Look, another elephant.
All right, I see some white rhinos here. Now, the white rhino is going to be quite a bit bigger than the black rhino we saw earlier. These guys weigh around 4,000 to 5,000 pounds.
They look so nice.
It's kind of funny. They might be called white rhinos, but their name has nothing to do with the color white. It is a mispronunciation of the Afrikaans word "weit," meaning wide, and that is in reference to their upper lip. Now, the black rhino we saw earlier had a pointed upper lip, but white rhinos have flat, wide ones. Their mouths are actually very similar to the shape of a cow's mouth.
Oh, girl, look at him. He's like, hey.
Now over on the left, looks like there's some cheetahs. They're a little hard to spot, but they're lying down just on the left side. They're kind of by a tree. Cheetahs are the fastest. They can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour. Sprinters, but not marathon. They can only go over short distances. And cheetahs are the only big cats to hunt during the day. And on their faces, you might notice they kind of have black tear marks. And those black marks help to reflect the sun away from their eyes. This kind of helps to absorb the glare. That is the same reason why athletes put black stripes on under their eyes. Now, one of the reasons that cheetahs hunt during the day is because they are built for speed, but not so much for power or endurance. They are pretty easily overpowered by other predators out there like lions or hyenas. And those guys have a tendency to hunt more in the mornings and evenings. And then that leaves the daytime wide open for cheetahs to hunt without having to worry about that competition.
Oh, really?
Up over on the right there is an antelope, and that is a water buck. Now, water buck are usually found near sources of water. And they do drink the most water out of any other antelope out there. They definitely win by a landslide. And water buck have pretty oily skin, and that helps to kind of water through their fur.
But I don't think they're out.
Animals. Let me see.
Right now, over on the left, I believe I can see some warthogs. I see two laying down the back, and then one's kind of just hanging out up there. Now, warthogs are one of the largest burrowing creatures. And while they can certainly make their own burrows, they have a tendency to just kind of find burrows made by other animals, and then just claim them for themselves. They're then very defensive and territorial over the burrows that they do claim as their own. They will often back up into them so they can have their tusks facing outward in a defensive position. And another view of those white rhinos over there. Oh, and an ostrich or two by that truck. Now, ostriches are the largest birds in the world. And while they cannot fly, they can run very fast, up to around 40 miles an hour. And I think that's made even more impressive is the fact that they only have 2 toes on each foot. Oh, and over on the right, it looks like there are some ostrich eggs. Their eggs are the largest egg. And in fact, one ostrich egg is about equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs.
They put it in the
Alrighty, well, we are entering into the Magadi Glen over here. And this is where we have our warden's post.
They made this way.
Our warden does a great job of taking care of the animals, feeding them, making sure that everyone stays safe while doing so. And it does look like his goats are out there all just hanging out up on the hill there. Now, these cute little guys are Nigerian dwarf goats. They're very friendly, very playful, and fairly small, but they are fully grown at this size. Not many farmers in Africa like to raise them as they're a source of dairy. And they also take up a bit less space than other dairy animals, which makes them just a little bit easier to maintain. Now, we have seen a lot of really cool animals out here today, and I hope that's what inspire you to learn more about them and learn more about what we might be able to do to help them out. One really easy way that we can help out these animals is to recycle our old electronics. Electronics are made from a mineral called coltan, and that that is heavily mined in Africa. Unfortunately, the mining practice does lead to habitat destruction. However, by recycling our old electronics like phones, computers, tablets, anything like that, we reduce the need to mine and more vehicles and consider our habitat destruction. So I'm really curious to know about the animals next time you're at the market for a vehicle or computer. And that'll just about bring us to the end of our journey here today. Now's a great time to start gathering up all of your personal belongings, making sure that you don't leave anything or anyone behind. And if I've had any wilderness explorers on board, you have been on the Simba 1. That is Simba, like the lion, and 1 like the number 1.
Yeah, we'll probably do that next.